So this is the first of our two bonus lessons. Our main dashboard, the Flutter web app, is complete and live. Now we're going to build a different kind of web page using a completely different surveying strategy. Server-side HTML rendering with Mustache templates. This is what the web worked like before JavaScript-heavy front-end frameworks arrived. The server fetches data, builds the HTML page, and sends the finished HTML to the browser. No JavaScript framework needed, no client-side rendering. The page arrives already complete. So in Serverpod, this is done through a combination of WidgetRoute, TemplateWidget, and Mustache template files. We'll build a lightweight start summary page that shows the current analytics snapshot across all our tracked apps, a page that works even with JavaScript disabled. Let's get into it. So before we build anything, let's be honest about when server-side HTML is the right choice versus a full Flutter web app. Server-side HTML makes sense when you want something lightweight and fast to load, like in our case, a status page, a read-only summary, maybe a public-facing dashboard that search engines need to index, okay? Or a simple admin page you want running without the overhead of loading a full Flutter engine in the browser. So it's much simpler to build, loads almost instantly because there's no JS bundle to download, and works everywhere, including browsers with JavaScript disabled. Flutter web, on the other hand, makes sense when you need a rich interactive experience, multiple pages, complex state animations, widgets, tight integration with shared Dart code from your mobile app. Our main dashboard is a perfect Flutter web use case. What we are building in this lesson is a read-only analytics summary page at our root status /status. So think of it as a public-facing health page that your stakeholders can visit to see the latest app stats without needing to log in to the full dashboard. So it's a plain HTML, real data, loads in milliseconds. Great. So Serverpod server-side HTML system has 3 layers that work together. Let me explain each one before we start writing code, okay? The first layer is WidgetRoute. This is a special kind of route. Instead of returning a raw response like our regular routes do, it returns a web widget. You extend WidgetRoute and implement the build method. The build method receives the same session and request parameters you already know. So you have full database access and everything else that comes with a session. The second layer is TemplateWidget. This is what you return from build. A TemplateWidget is a Dart class that is paired with a Mustache HTML template file on disk. So you pass data into it through a values map, and Serverpod renders a template by substituting the Mustache placeholders with your values. We'll get to see that. Then the third layer is the Mustache template file itself. So this lives in the templates folder in the web directory inside your server package. It is a plain HTML file with double curly brace. It is a plain HTML file with double curly brace placeholders that get replaced with the values from your Dart class when the page is rendered. So the naming connection is important. The name you pass to the template widget super constructor must match the file name of the template in the templates folder in the web directory. So if you write super and the name is stats_summary, Serverpod looks for a template, HTML template called stats_summary. So let's start with the template, the HTML file, because it is the clearest way to see what we are building before we write the Dart code. So we're going to create a new HTML file called stats_summary in our templates folder in the web directory in our server package. So I'm not going to write this manually. We're just going to copy it from the GitHub repo. But let's focus on the main points or the key things here. So every placeholder called variable name gets replaced by the matching key in the Dart values map when Serverpod renders a template. So total daily active users, total DAU, total sessions, average crash rate. These are all values we will pass from the Dart. The app rows placeholder is interesting. Instead of a single value, it will receive the rendered HTML of all individual app row widgets concatenated together. So this is how you compose templates in Serverpod. Nest widgets by rendering the HTML and passing the result as a string value into a parent template. Okay. Now we need a template for each individual app row too, what we had mentioned earlier. So we'll create another HTML file called app_row in our templates folder in the web directory in the server package. This is how it looks. It also has placeholders there. Then we're going to create another, then the dot side now. For the dot side, we're going to have a dot file called app_row_widget in our templates folder in a web directory in the server package. And this is how it looks. So notice the super name app_row call. This is the connection to the app_row.html template file that we've just created. Serverpod will look for that file when this widget is rendered. The values map keys must exactly match the placeholder names in the template. Now, let's create the main start summary widget by defining a file called stats_summary_widget.dat. So inside here, notice that app rows receives a string, not a list, not an object, just a plain string of HTML. This is how Serverpod's template composition works. So you render child widgets to HTML strings and pass those strings as values into the parent table. All values in the values map must be convertible to a string, which is why we format numbers and dates in the constructor rather than passing raw integers or datetime objects. Now, the route that ties everything together is our file stats_summary_root.dat, which we'll find it in our web directory directly. And this is how it looks. It will be a class that will extend the WidgetRoute. So let me highlight the key things here. So the start summary route, it will extend the WidgetRoute instead of the root. Okay. The method is build instead of handle call. Remember, it returns us web widget, specifically a template widget instead of a response. So that is the entire difference from the root classes we built in lesson 3 and 4. The data fetching is identical to what we did in the web routes. We call analytics endpoint methods with a session. The session provides the same database access here as it does everywhere else. Now the rendering loop is the interesting part. So we create an app row widget for each app summary and call the row widget.render on it to get back the HTML string for that row. Then accumulate all the rows into a string buffer. The final concatenation HTML string is then passed as the app rows value into start summary widget. When Serverpod renders start summary widget, it puts that block of HTML directly into the app rows placeholder in the template. I hope it makes sense. So before we register our route, let me just show you another shortcut that Serverpod provides for the composition pattern we just did manually. So instead of rendering each child to a string yourself, you can use list widget, a built-in widget that takes a list of child objects of type web widget, renders each one, and concatenates the results. So the list widget approach is cleaner than when you have a list of identical widgets to render. The manual string buffer approach gives you more control if you just need to conditionally include or exclude rows. Okay, great. Now let's add the route to the server.dat. Remember, WidgetRoute is still a route, so you need to register it the same way. So we register it before pod.start method. Then let's restart our server and open localhost port 8082/status in our browser. So we'll see a clean, fully rendered HTML page with a header showing the current timestamp, 4 start cards with real numbers from the database, a list of all 3 apps with their latest DAU, session count, and color-coded crash rate budget. So the entire page was built on the server. Open browser DevTools and look at the page source. You will see complete rendered HTML. So there's no JavaScript fetching data, no loading spinner, no client-side rendering. The server built the page, sent it as HTML, and the browser displayed it. That is SSR, server-side rendering. Great. Now let me briefly show you the other built-in widgets Serverpod provides because they're useful to know about even if we do not build them in this lesson. We have JSON widget. It's the simplest one. So instead of running a template, it returns a JSON response and it looks something like this. So you might wonder why you would use JSON widget via WidgetRoute instead of a regular route returning response.ok. So the answer is mostly convenience. So if you're already using the WidgetRoute pattern across your server-side pages and want one endpoint return the JSON, you can use JSON widget, which lets you stay consistent without switching patterns. Then the redirect widget does exactly what you would expect. It issues an HTTP redirect. It looks something like this. So permanently redirects the old URL to the new one. And we already used list widget by updating our logic, which concatenates multiple widgets into one response. Yep, so let's recap on the lesson. So we understood when server-side HTML rendering is the right choice, right? Lightweight, Node.js, public facing, SEO-friendly pages versus when Flutter Web is right, where it has rich, interactive, state-heavy apps. We learned the 3-layer SSI system in Serverpod, which is WidgetRoute that handles the request and fetches data. TemplateWidget, which pairs a Dart class with a Mustache HTML file using the name parameter, and the Mustache template file lives in the template folder in the web directory in our server package with the placeholder syntax. We created 2 templates, the start summary.html for the page and appro.html for each app row. Okay. We built the corresponding Dart widget classes with formatted values in the values map. And we wrote the start summary route extending WidgetRoute that fetches real data, renders child widgets to HTML strings, and returns the composed parent widget. We saw the list widget shortcut for list rendering, and we tested the page at the root status, and saw a fully server rendered HTML page with live database data. No JavaScript bundle required. Great, now we are in our final lesson where we serve a plain SPA using the SPA route. See you there.